The mirror doesn't lie. But for years, it felt like it was playing a cruel joke. You'd lean in, scrutinizing the reflection, wondering where the woman you used to know had gone. The one with the bounce in her step and the light in her eyes. The one whose skin seemed to hum with life. Now, you see a different story. You see the fine lines that have etched themselves a little deeper. You see the crepey texture on your eyelids, the way the skin under your jaw doesn't snap back the way it used to. You see a dullness that no amount of water seems to fix, a landscape of changes that happened so gradually you barely noticed until one day, you did. And you've tried to fight it. Oh, have you tried? You've bought the creams promising a miracle in a jar. You've slathered on the serums that cost a small fortune, hoping the promises on the box would somehow translate to your skin. You've followed the routines, applied things in the correct order, waited patiently for the clinical results to show up on your face. But instead of radiance, you got disappointment. Instead of that youthful plumpness, you got more of the same. Or worse, irritation. You're not alone in this. This is the silent frustration of millions of women over 50. We are the most powerful consumer demographic in the world, yet the beauty industry has spent decades treating us like an afterthought. They sell us anti-aging, which is really just a polite way of saying fighting the inevitable. They focus on erasing, on stripping back, on fighting a war against time that you will, by definition, lose. And they've convinced you that the problem is your skin, that it's failing you, that it's broken. But what if I told you your skin isn't broken? What if I told you it's not failing at all? What if I told you it's simply speaking a different language now, and you've been trying to talk to it using a phrase book from 30 years ago? For decades, your skin was an oil powerhouse. It was producing sebum like crazy, keeping itself plump, dewy, and resilient. Your skincare routine was about management, controlling oil, fighting breakouts, keeping that engine from overheating. But somewhere around the milestone of 50, the engine changes. It doesn't stop. It just shifts gears. Hormonally, things quiet down. Estrogen, that great protector of skin elasticity and moisture, begins to decline. The oil production slows to a trickle. Cell turnover, that process that used to happen every 28 days, starts to take its sweet time, stretching out to 40, 50, even 60 days. This isn't a breakdown. This is a recalibration. The problem is, you've been trying to fix a Ferrari engine with a manual for a steam train. You're slapping oil-controlling toners on dry, thirsty skin. You're using heavy creams that sit on top of the surface because your skin lacks the lipids to pull them in. You're exfoliating with harsh granules, trying to scrub away the dullness, but you're just micro-tearing a surface that has become more fragile, more precious. The skincare industry profits from your confusion. They want you to believe that you need a 12-step routine, a cabinet full of products, because more products equal more sales. But here's the radical truth. Restoring youthful radiance after 50 isn't about doing more. It's about doing what matters. It's about shifting from a mindset of management to one of nourishment, from fighting your skin to feeding it. So, how do we actually do this? How do we cut through the noise, the expensive marketing, and the well-meaning but useless advice? How do we choose skincare that doesn't just coat the surface but actually reaches down into the layers of your skin and whispers, "Wake up. Remember who you are"? It starts by throwing away the rulebook and embracing 3 fundamental, non-negotiable pillars. If a product doesn't fit into these pillars, it doesn't deserve a spot on your bathroom counter. If a routine doesn't respect these pillars, it's just expensive hope in a fancy bottle. Pillar 1, the barrier. It's everything. Think of your skin's barrier, the stratum corneum, as a brick wall. The skin cells are the bricks, and the lipids, the ceramides, cholesterol, and fatty acids, are the mortar. In your youth, that mortar was thick, strong, and held everything tight. Now, thanks to that hormonal shift, the mortar is thinner. It's crumbling. The wall becomes permeable. Water escapes easily. That's transepidermal water loss, the technical term for your skin feeling perpetually parched no matter how much water you drink. And irritants, things that never bothered you before, can now sneak right through those cracks. This is why you can't just slap any old moisturizer on and hope for the best. If the barrier is broken, everything you put on top is just leaking out. So, When you are looking at a product, your first question isn't, does it reduce wrinkles? It's, does it support my barrier? You need to become a detective of the ingredient list. You are looking for lipid-rich ingredients. You are looking for ceramides. These are the workhorses that actually replace the missing mortar in your wall. You are looking for niacinamide, a form of vitamin B3 that is a multitasking genius. It helps build keratin, strengthens the barrier, and calms inflammation. You are looking for squalane, which is a lipid your skin naturally produces but stops making as much of. It's the ultimate emollient, sinking in deeply without feeling greasy. If a product doesn't have these barrier-supporting ingredients at its core, it's just perfume and water. You are not 25 anymore. You don't need a light, pretty mist. You need structural support. You need to rebuild the wall so you can stop the water from leaking out. Pillar 2. The power of the peptide. For years, the industry has been obsessed with retinol. And retinol is powerful. It speeds up cell turnover. It can smooth fine lines. But for many women over 50, especially those with sensitive skin or a compromised barrier, retinol can be like setting off a firecracker in a library. It's too harsh. It leads to the dreaded retinol uglies, redness, peeling, irritation, which only further damages that fragile barrier we just talked about. There is a better, more sophisticated way. A way that doesn't bully your skin into behaving but communicates with it intelligently. That way is peptides. Peptides are short chains of amino acids. They are the building blocks of collagen and elastin, the proteins that give your skin its structure, its bounce, its firmness. Think of your skin cells as tiny factories. When you were younger, they were working overtime, pumping out collagen. Now those factories have gotten the memo that business is slow. They've slowed production. Peptides are the messengers. When you apply a peptide serum, you are sending a signal to those sleepy factories. You are tapping on the window and saying, "Hey, we need more collagen. Get back to work." They don't force the skin, they communicate with it. They trigger your skin's own natural repair processes. When you scan a label, you want to see words like copper peptides, palmitoyl pentapeptide, or matrixyl. These are the signalers. They are the whispers that tell your aging cells to remember their job. They are the difference between forcing a plant to grow by pulling on its leaves and nourishing the roots so it blooms on its own. Peptides are the root nourishment for mature skin. Pillar 3. The hydration equation. There is a massive difference between oil and hydration. Most women confuse the two. They think if their skin is dry, they need a thicker cream, more oil. But oil doesn't hydrate. Oil seals. Hydration is about water. Your skin is thirsty. It is literally parched for water. That crepey texture? That's dehydrated skin. That lack of plumpness? Dehydration. You need to pull water into the skin cells before you can even think about sealing it in with those beautiful barrier creams. This is where the unsung heroes of skincare come in. Humectants. These are ingredients that attract water like a magnet. The king of humectants is hyaluronic acid. But here's the critical thing about hyaluronic acid that most people don't know. It's a molecule that can be different sizes. Standard hyaluronic acid sits on top of the skin and feels nice, but it doesn't penetrate deeply. For skin over 50, you need the good stuff. You need multimolecular weight, hyaluronic acid. You need it in different sizes so that some of it sits on the surface to smooth and plump, but some of it is small enough to penetrate down into the deeper layers of your skin, the dermis, where real plumping happens. You also need other humectants like glycerin and snail mucin, which are incredible at holding water within the skin. Think of your skincare routine as a glass of water. The humectants are the water. The barrier-supporting creams are the coaster that stops the water from spilling everywhere. You can't just put the glass on the coaster and expect it to fill up. You need both. You need the hydration and the occlusion. Now, let's put this all together. Let's build a routine that respects your skin, that feeds it, that talks to it in the language it understands. It doesn't have to be complicated. It just has to be smart. Morning, the preparation. You wake up. Your skin has been repairing itself all night. Do not strip it with a harsh foaming cleanser. Foaming cleansers are for oil management. You need gentle cleansing. Use a creamy, milky, or oil-based cleanser that removes the sweat and leftover products from the night, but leaves your lipid barrier intact. Then, while your skin is still damp, and this is crucial, you apply your hydrating serum. This is your hyaluronic acid, your humectant cocktail. Damp skin absorbs this up to 10 times better than dry skin. You are literally drinking the water. Next, you lock it in with a moisturizer rich in ceramides and niacinamide. This is your barrier boost. And finally, and I cannot stress this enough, sunscreen. Every single day. Even when it's cloudy. Even when you're inside. UV damage is the #1 cause of visible aging. It breaks down collagen, creates dark spots, and thins the skin. A mineral-based sunscreen with zinc oxide or titanium dioxide is often better for mature skin as it sits on top and reflects light, rather than chemical sunscreens that can be irritating. Night. The restoration. At night, you double cleanse. First, an oil-based cleanser to melt away the day's grime, the sunscreen, the pollution. Then, your gentle, creamy cleanser. You are clearing the way for repair. Now, on the damp skin, you apply your peptide serum. This is your workhorse. This is the signal you are sending to your sleepy collagen factories. Let it sink in for a minute. Then, you apply a slightly richer moisturizer or night cream. Look for one with peptides, ceramides, and maybe a touch of a gentle, encapsulated retinol or a bakuchiol, a natural, gentler alternative to retinol if your skin tolerates it. But if not, don't push it. The peptide-ceramide combo is infinitely more valuable than a retinol that leaves you red and flaky. And that's it. That's the core. 3 steps in the morning, 4 at night. It's simple, but it's powerful because it's targeted. You are not fighting time. You are partnering with your biology. You are giving your skin exactly what it's crying out for. This approach doesn't just change your skin. It changes how you see yourself. Because when you stop looking in the mirror and seeing a problem to be fixed and start seeing a woman to be nourished, the entire game shifts. You begin to notice the small victories. The return of that subtle dewiness on your cheekbones. The way the light catches your skin instead of being absorbed by dullness. The quiet confidence of knowing that you are taking care of yourself, not with punishment and harsh regimes, but with respect and intelligence. The woman in the mirror hasn't disappeared. She's been there all along, waiting for you to stop fighting and start listening. She's waiting for you to feed her the right things, to speak her language, to rebuild her from the inside out. That youthful radiance you're chasing? It was never about looking 25 again. It was always about looking like the most vibrant, healthy, confident version of the woman you are today. And that woman is absolutely radiant. So, the next time you pick up a bottle, don't ask it if it will make you look younger. Ask it if it will make you look like you. The best you. The you that's been waiting to come back to life. If this video resonated with you, if it made you see yourself or your skincare routine in a new light, please show it some love. Hit that like button. It really helps other women just like you discover this message. And don't keep this to yourself. Share this video with a friend, a sister, or anyone in your life who needs to hear that her skin isn't broken. She's just been using the wrong map. Sharing is how we lift each other up. And if you want to continue this journey together, if you want more straight-talking, no-nonsense advice about skincare, confidence, and living beautifully at any age, make sure you subscribe to Ageless Styles and tap the bell icon so you never miss another video. Because this conversation, we're just getting started. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. And thank you for choosing to nourish yourself, today and every day. I'll see you in the next video.